Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from the Governor Brown's State of the State speech, the Republican reply to the State of the State speech, news from SCE, the latest presidential polls, news about upcoming local events, today's gas prices, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News Crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, last Monday, Governor Brown gave his State of the State speech. In it, he addressed the state's fiscal status. Released last week, the $122 billion budget totals about $6.5 billion more than the 2015-16 budget, and it leaves a surplus totaling more than $3 billion. In the governor's budget summary, the first issue addressed is ongoing fiscal stability and responsibility, as this would be the fourth consecutive fiscal year with a balanced budget. Brown warns of historical trends of budgets with massive shortfalls following previous stretches of balanced budgets. Moreover, the budget summary addresses all the state's liabilities and where the Proposition 2 funds are being directed in effort to rein in all this liability, the biggest of which is pensions. The $1.5 billion in Prop 2 funding might seem like a drop in a $223 billion bucket, but the current plan is on track to deal with all the state's liabilities over the coming decades. Recession planning is another point the proposal touches on, saying that increasing the rainy day fund should be the primary fiscal goal of the state. The Department of Finance has modeled an average magnitude recession to occur in 2017-18. Continuing to prioritize the rainy day fund, the proposal seeks $2 billion on top of the annual Prop 2 monies being directed into the fund. The $2 billion boost would bring it up to $8 billion, or 65% of the fund's goal. Education gets some loving in the proposal, with the local control funding formula nearing full implementation and another $2.4 billion bump in total education funding for $71.4 billion total. Higher education institutions are being told to become more efficient with the funding rather than just admitting more students. Brown pulled no punches in addressing the state's infrastructure, immediately citing the deferred maintenance price tag to be $77 billion in total. To address that crumbling cookie, the governor included a $36 billion over 10-year plan to improve maintenance, improve public transportation, and improve trade routes. The plan also includes raising taxes and fees on the state's drivers. And the Republicans offer their response to Brown's speech. From Sacramento, Senate Republican leader Gene Fuller issued the following statement in response to Governor Jerry Brown's State of the State address. Governor Brown touched on many areas including the budget, education, infrastructure, and water. While he acknowledged that California must operate with fiscal restraint, he also called for increasing taxes on areas such as health care and transportation. Over the next 2 years, California will receive approximately $16 billion in new general fund revenue, including nearly $6 billion this year. California has more than enough revenue to fund the vital programs we all feel are necessary to operate this great state, it's including funding for the developmentally disabled and improving our crumbling highways and roads. Senate Republicans remain committed to finding solutions to all of California's challenges, but we believe those solutions can be found by prioritizing our spending, not raising taxes. So things look good for California budget-wise, but the Democrats still want to raise taxes and fees on us. That was from Gene Fuller. In news from our Desert Empire Fair Board, the board has decided to continue the management contract for the fairgrounds with Chip Holloway. Chip took over last year when Mike Lemming left Ridgecrest. Chip really dove into the job and says he likes it very much. He said he's excited to continue on as the DEF manager. We've had Chip on KZGN recently, and he says that he has some plans of changing things out there. So we'll watch to see the direction he takes the fairgrounds this year. Has everyone gotten their letter from Southern California Edison? The letter states they are planning on closing a lot of their satellite payment centers. In an effort to save costs, they are planning on closing payment centers from Mammoth to Bishop to Barstow, including Ridgecrest and other areas. They cite that more and more people are using online payment capabilities, or paying by phone. But none of that replaces person-to-person contact. If you don't like the idea, be aware they have to get approval from the California Public Utilities Commission, the CPUC, to do this. The letter states that there is a 60-day comment period for the people to voice their opinions on the idea. Personally, I'm against the closures. Ridgecrest is the largest city between Lancaster to the Nevada state line in the eastern Sierra region. In the letter, they state that there will still be a couple local retail outlets we can make payments to. But my guess is there will be a fee for using those payment centers. And they will not be able to help you with any SCE situations at all, only take our money. SCE should at least keep the center here open. At least it will be one central location when people from up north and south of us would still be able to conduct business in person. Every time I'm at SCE paying my bill, I see the fine people at the SCE windows helping people with all sorts of situations. The local ladies are wonderful. To lose that great customer service would not be good. There is still time to influence this decision at SCE. You can offer comments by calling the CPUC at 1-800-649-7570. Call them and tell them that there needs to be at least one center for person-to-person contact in the eastern Sierra region. You can also take a survey and offer your opinion directly to SCE. You can call them at 1-888-367-7178. In this call, they ask you 2 survey questions, then you can offer your comments. So pick up your phone and call them right now. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll bring the latest presidential campaign polls. Thanks for staying with us. In the latest presidential campaign polls, we see more movement. With just a few days now until the first elections, interest in campaign ads are heating up. The latest National Republican poll from Monmouth shows these results. Trump at 36, Cruz 17, Rubio 11, Carson at 8, Bush at 5, Christie, Kasich, and Huckabee at 3, Paul at 2, and Fiorina and Santorum at 1%. The latest CNN Iowa poll shows the top 5 Republicans in this order. Trump 37, Cruz 26, Rubio 14, Carson 6, Bush 3. In the Democrat race, it shows Sanders at 51%, Clinton at 43%, O'Malley at 4%. In New Hampshire, the CNN poll shows Republicans at Trump 34%, Cruz 14%, Rubio and Bush at 10%, and Kasich and Christie and Paul at 6%. And in the Democratic race, it shows Sanders at 46%, Clinton at 43%, O'Malley at 2%. Additionally, polls in Florida and North Carolina continue to show Trump and Clinton with large leads in their parties. And now there is news of yet another group of staunch conservatives and Cruz supporters coming out to try and stop Trump. The National Review is under fire today from supporters of Trump and others for devoting a complete issue against Trump. Some of these editorialists were interviewed on Fox News last evening. One of the writers admitted she isn't even a Republican, but she still wrote an editorial against him. Seems their biggest complaint with Trump is that they weren't sure he means all his position changes from past positions, and they think he isn't a true conservative. Trump replies that he has changed his position over the last few years. He doesn't hide it or try to spin it off like so many other candidates do that flip positions. You know, the spin politicians use. Some try and explain away a flip by saying something like, well, yeah, I voted for it, but that was after I was against it, and then my vote for it really wasn't a vote for it, it was really a vote against it. Anyway, most other pundits are saying it's too late to stop Trump now, and these supposed conservative purists need to get over it. Then again, I wonder what the definition of a conservative purist is. And there are also reports that the RNC has uninvited the National Review representatives from the next Republican debate. Well, the next week until Iowa will really be exciting. Then on to New Hampshire, and then to South Carolina. In news from Burroughs High School, we get reports that the Burroughs High School marching band is still in need of funds to help them travel to Washington, D.C. to participate in this summer's July 4th national celebration. Congressman McCarthy invited them to participate in this year's USA birthday celebration. They'll march in the parade and represent Ridgecrest. They'll also have the opportunity to participate in other educational and patriotic events while they are there. Among those activities will be joining in the laying of a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. I've attended that ceremony in the past, and it is moving. However, to go, the cost for the whole band to do this is about $50,000. The total cost per student is about $1,600. They're asking for help from the community to help pay the cost of this exciting adventure for the band. If anyone or a business would like to help, please call the 2016 Independence Day Parade Trip Coordinator, Tim Johnson, at 760-977-1167. In the news of upcoming local events, we get these stories. From KZGN Field Reporter, we get this story from the China Lake Alliance. The Alliance will host a luncheon at 11:30 a.m. Monday, January 25th at the Spring Hill Suites Conference Center. The speaker will be former California Governor Pete Wilson. Governor Wilson has a distinguished record of public service as mayor of San Diego, United States Senator, Governor of California, and more recently as co-chairman of the Southwest Defense Alliance. He will be in Ridgecrest representing the Southwest Defense Alliance, with which the China Lake Alliance has long been associated. Cost of the luncheon is $25 per person. China Lake Alliance members will receive complimentary admission based on their membership level. Please RSVP to Jan Bennett at 760-382-4488 or email at iwvedc@gmail.com. Do this prior to noon on Friday, January 22nd. In school district news, they are empowering parents and transforming youth training starts January 26th at Fowler Elementary School. Classes are from 5:45 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. Throughout the 10-week course sessions, parents will learn concrete, step-by-step solutions for raising children in today's complex society, including guidelines for parents when they need a rule, improving student success, discovering how and when to negotiate with your children, enhancing sibling relationships, and how to use timeouts properly to gain substantial behavioral change. The January 26th class kicks off an innovative 10-week course. The course is absolutely free. Additionally, the class materials are free if the course is completed. According to Walters, the course is offered yearly. There is still room for parents to participate in the Empowering Parents and Transforming Youth 10-week course. For further questions, call Brianna Walters at 760-499-1840 or Kevin Wythe at 760-499-1690. Well, are you ready for a fun evening of guns and entertainment for the benefit of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation? Coming real quick now is the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Dinner. This year's annual dinner is Saturday, January 30th at the Kerr-McGee Center. That's just 1 week from now. Pre-sale tickets can be purchased and is required. If you want to attend this event, purchase your tickets now. Contact Gavin Swanson at 760-589-4537 or email him at rc.rmef.tickets@gmail.com. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my report on Wednesday, gas prices everywhere has shown another drop. Local prices dropped another 2 cents per gallon, and Ridgecrest has the lowest prices in all the areas we are monitoring. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.61 to $3.09, Lancaster from $2.69 to $2.99, the LA Valley area $2.67 to $2.85, and the Bishop area $2.78 to $2.93. We have one station at the $2.61 amount. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, an area of low pressure centered over the southeastern U.S. will continue developing into a major winter storm, which will impact a large portion of the eastern coast from the southern Appalachians through the mid-Atlantic states from Friday into the weekend. Snowfall totals may exceed 2 feet in portions of these areas, including the Baltimore and Washington, D.C. metropolitan areas. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 51, Georgia at 39, Arkansas at 38, Northern Texas at 51, Arizona at 69, and Los Angeles at 64. And for us locally, tonight, a 10% chance of rain, mostly cloudy with a low around 48, southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, a 20% chance of rain, mostly cloudy with a high near 59, south-southwest wind 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 36, south-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 57, south-southeast wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 36, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. And Monday, sunny with a high near 58, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now, Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Friday early evening to everyone. Let's start with Burroughs basketball tonight. Burroughs over at the barn. They'll take on Sultana girls basketball, and that will start at 4:30 with the JV girls, and then at 6 o'clock the varsity girls. Meanwhile, the boys will be on the road at a very, very tough Sultana team. Now, a great game on Wednesday night. A game went 4 overtimes. The Burroughs boys lost a tough, just gut-wrenching 50-47 decision to Serrano. That game went back and forth, back and forth. The score tied at halftime, 17-17. The score tied after 3 at 23 all. And then the score tied at regulation by a score of 28-28. Then the first overtime couldn't be cracked. Second overtime, third overtime, finally, 7-point lead by the team from Serrano, and then Burroughs couldn't quite hit a shot at the buzzer, and that was that. Cole Hayes played a fantastic game for Burroughs, as did a lot of the other guys on that team, and one of the better games, I saw most of it, one of the better games I've seen as far as just parity goes and great effort in a long time. Also the JV boys, a winner against Serrano. Now let's talk a little bit about the Lakers. The Lakers lost to Sacramento the other night, 112-93. That's twice in a row now the Lakers have lost to Sacramento in the last 3 weeks. The Lakers now 9 wins and 31 losses. All right, Atlanta beats Portland. Golden State, another blowout. Golden State went over to Cleveland 2 nights ago and beat the Cavaliers by 33 points, their worst home loss in the last 6 years. Then they went over to Chicago and had one of their worst home losses in the last 13 or 14 years. They beat the Bulls 125-94, so Golden State on all cylinders again. They have a great record of 42-4. Now, Dallas beats Minnesota, and Detroit over Houston. Boy, I think Houston made a mistake when they fired Kevin McHale. That team now 3 games under 500. NFL note, Johnny Manziel in trouble again. He missed a scheduled treatment appointment, and I guess the reason was he was at a party in Las Vegas. Okay, Sunday, going to be a great football. 12:05 our time. New England will be at Denver. Both teams 12-4. It'll be a great matchup of 2 very good defensive teams, 2 great quarterbacks, just a lot of good athletes in that game, and basically the winner take all goes to the Super Bowl. Loser goes home. 3:40 will be the NFC game. Arizona 13-3, fresh off an overtime win against Green Bay, will be at Carolina 15-1. The Panthers defeated Seattle last Sunday by a score of 31-24. Now on Sunday, February 7th, it'll be the Super Bowl. That'll be the 2 weeks after this weekend. Next weekend will be the Pro Bowl from Hawaii. And then again on the 7th, that'll be a Sunday afternoon from Levi Stadium, brand new stadium where the 49ers play in Santa Clara, will be Super Bowl number 50. Hard to believe. 50 years of Super Bowl. Started back in 1967 with Green Bay and the Oakland Raiders. I beg your pardon, Green Bay and the Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl number 2 was Green Bay and the Oakland Raiders. Boy, what games those were. Okay, college basketball, UCLA gets a win against Oregon State, 82-73. They'll play Oregon on Saturday night. UC Irvine beats Cal State Fullerton. Washington beats Colorado from the Pac-12, and Long Beach State beats UC Santa Barbara. That's your sports for this Friday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.